Well, Project Veritas exposes Kentucky Senate Democrat candidate Amy McGrath is allegedly deceiving Republican voters in order to try and beat incumbent Republican Mitch McConnell. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
So you were in Kentucky and you're following this candidate. Apparently she's opposing Mitch McConnell. And what would you say are the headlines from the work you've been doing there?
So these series of tapes we're about to release, the first one in Kentucky on a woman named Amy McGrath. She's running against Mitch McConnell in Kentucky, which is a coal state. And her campaign staff says that she doesn't actually support coal. She just says she does in order to win the election. Democrats running in red states tend to, this is a pattern across the country, they have to deceive voters in order to win because they have to appeal to Trump voters. Now this official, Abby is her name, and she works for Amy McGrath. She's a field organizer with the campaign there in Kentucky, says that they have to mislead voters. She says that we can't be honest about what our policy views are, and she compares or she contrasts Amy McGrath's record with Elizabeth Warren, who is much more transparent about what Elizabeth Warren believed in. So Abby says that the campaign has to lie a bit, has to make voters believe that Amy McGrath supports Trump's policies, even though she really doesn't, in order to win the election. It's all about winning elections and not being transparent about what they actually believe.
Now, I understand you were trying to track down Colonel McGrath at one point. What were you attempting to ask her about?
I was attempting to ask her, I went all the way to the town of Union, Kentucky, where Amy McGrath was shooting a campaign advertisement inside of a donor or a supporter's house. And they called the police on me, the sheriff's on me. I was standing in the street with a microphone. I was attempting to ask for her comment, John, like reporters do. And the man in the SUV asked, "Who are you with?" And I said, "Does it make a difference?" Because apparently it does. If you're from Veritas as opposed to the New York Times, they call the police on you. The police came and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, I'm a reporter asking for comment. And it was kind of this really ridiculous situation. So I was trying to get Amy McGrath on the record, but it's totally consistent with the video, because in the videotape, Abby says, you can't talk about what you believe in. And when I went for comment, they were evading me. They called the police on me. They just don't. It's almost like you can run for office and not have to answer anyone's questions or ever appear before a reporter. That's campaigning in 2020.
So it is my understanding that these Boone County deputies confronted you, and were these the people you're just talking about?
Yes, sheriff. These are very nice sheriffs in Boone County, Kentucky. They came and said they asked you to leave, and I said, actually, nobody asked me to leave. I've never been asked to leave by anybody. I have a right to be here. And they said, well, you are trespassing because they asked you to leave. And we have the tape. Nobody asked me to leave. I did knock on the door. Nobody answered the door. I then proceeded to walk down the steps into the street and wait for some. Now, it's one more thing. Amy McGrath was in an SUV. Apparently was going to get out of the SUV, but when I was there, they realized they don't want to get out of the SUV. So she tried to fit the SUV into this tiny garage door, which it didn't fit. So there's this scene where the SUV is sort of cartoonishly trying to enter and exit. It can't fit into the garage. Again, these are politicians who just don't want to answer questions, and we think that that's a bad look. We think that Amy McGrath should, in fact, talk about what she actually believes, because people have a right to know that.
So what else can we expect from Project Veritas and Project Veritas action before the election, James?
Well, we have a big story coming out. We're trying to corroborate it right now. People say that voter fraud is not substantiated. There's no evidence of voter fraud. That's not systemic. And we're going to go out and substantiate it and get systemic evidence.
James O'Keefe, the founder and president of Project Veritas and Project Veritas Action, thank you for talking to us on One America News. It's good to catch up with you, sir.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.